show will go on. Rapper GloRilla will host a concert in Tennessee tomorrow after being arrested in Forsyth.
I was hoping the show would still go on. Because they really up for it. They really.
What if the biggest robbery wasn't about jewelry, but about secrets? GloRilla's house was invaded, but she's the one in cuffs. Was it a setup, a betrayal from someone close? Or something much, much deeper? This isn't just another celebrity scandal, this is a ticking time bomb in the music industry. Watch closely, because the truth is buried in the details no one's talking about. One night really can flip everything upside down, and for GloRilla, that night hit harder than a thunderclap against a gold record. Right before her birthday, while she was lighting up the WNBA All-Star stage in Indianapolis with her fiery Memphis energy, chaos was erupting back home in Georgia. Around 1:30 a.m., a call about a break-in at her Alpharetta residence led to a dramatic turn of events. 3 masked figures forced their way inside, only to be met by gunshots from someone already there. But here's where things got truly unexpected. Was not the intruders who got arrested? Instead, GloRilla found herself in handcuffs. Investigators claimed they caught a whiff of something suspicious in the air, secured a warrant, and then turned the house upside down. Their focus shifted from the break-in to what they later described as a sizable stash of marijuana tucked away in her bedroom closet.
GloRilla was arrested in Georgia on felony charges and was booked Tuesday in Forsyth County, Georgia. I believe I'm saying that correct. The charges were possession of a scheduled controlled substance and possession of over 1 ounce. And under the Georgia law, these are felony charges.
In an instant, GloRilla's journey from Grammy glitz to a jail cell in Forsyth County became a harsh reality. The same woman who once ruled the charts with Yaglo hits now faced 2 felony charges and a humiliating spotlight. But this was no forced perp walk. She surrendered on her own terms, walking into the police station with quiet dignity and posting her $22,000 bond as casually as ordering takeout. Still, the fallout was unavoidable. Her mugshot spread like wildfire. Headlines tore through her reputation. And the bitter irony was impossible to ignore: a burglary victim now framed as the villain, while the real criminals slipped away like whispers in the Georgia woods. GloRilla's rise had always felt touched by fate. From singing hymns in church pews to electrifying massive arenas, her voice carried both spirit and power. Her debut album Glorious was still climbing charts. She was winning hearts from the likes of Tyler, the Creator, and even sparking rumors with NBA star Brandon Ingram after a cozy nightclub sighting. But success never erases the past. Just a year ago, she faced DUI and reckless driving charges in Gwinnett County. Back then, fans shrugged it off as the cost of youthful fame and late-night thrills. Now, with serious drug charges looming and prosecutors eager to dig deep, those old mistakes might come back as key evidence in a case that threatens to shatter her momentum.
I wonder, did they have probable cause to go in her closet?
Well, they probably went to see what was stolen, and when they went to see what stolen, found But, GloRilla is really sad. Those people robbed her house, stole her jewelry, and left that. That's messed up.
Yeah, and now.
Still reeling from the chaos, GloRilla took 2x with a sharp and viral post. "My house got home invaded, and I'm the only one that gets arrested. So that's tea." Her words struck a nerve. The internet exploded, fans were furious, and her attorneys wasted no time releasing a scathing statement. They condemned the authorities, calling the arrest a troubling example of misplaced priorities in modern policing. To them, this was not an ordinary investigation, it was a deliberate attempt to shift the spotlight, turning a victim into a headline-worthy suspect. And the issue went far beyond possession. It was about perception. About a young black woman at the peak of her power, being stripped down in her own space, while the real intruders vanished into the shadows. But just when the story seemed clear-cut, whispers began to cloud the truth. Sources close to her inner circle hinted at something off the recorder. Behind-the-scenes deal that never saw a docket or news brief. Rumors pointed to a discreet agreement, possibly made in a private meeting, where consequences quietly softened. Whatever happened, her exit from jail seemed too smooth to ignore. It was not about cash. GloRilla had that in spades. It was not about merchandise. She was already flipping her mugshot into hot-ticket merch and headlining sold-out Glow Bash shows. The speculation turned darker. What if she did not pay, but traded something deeper? The streets were asking, did GloRilla hand someone over?
Released, and at the time when this story broke, the details of the arrest were not clear. So then GloRilla's attorney, Drew Finland, released a statement. So he sent the statement to us, and he says, the arrest of Gloria Woods is a disturbing window into how warped law enforcement priorities have become. Miss Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group.
This was no standard backroom plea deal. This was something far more personal. Imagine loyalty swapped for survival. A former tour manager hinted that all was not well behind the scenes weeks before the break-in. The vibe shifted, close friends vanished, unfollows appeared like silent warnings, and now this. Could GloRilla have cut someone loose, maybe a cousin, an old flame, or even an industry peer to save herself? And if she did, was it truly a choice? Or just the only move left in a high-stakes game where betrayal might be the only path to freedom? Then there is the break-in itself, too convenient, too cinematic. 3 masked figures sneak into her home while she is hundreds of miles away performing at a high-profile event. No one is harmed, shots are fired, yet they vanish without a trace. No arrests, no suspects, not even blurry surveillance stills. And right after, the sheriff's department just happens to detect a suspicious scent, gets a warrant, and finds exactly what they need. It all lines up too neatly. The timing, the escape, the evidence, it plays more like a scripted drama than a real-life investigation. Even federal agents would raise a brow at a setup that clean.
$160 bond. And again, she is expected to perform tomorrow night at her Glow Bash at FedEx Forum. Now, she tweeted about her arrest and she said, long story short, my house gets invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested. Now, GloRilla's attorney says that there have not been any arrest warrants in touch with that home invasion. And she went on to say that GloRilla is a victim, not a suspect.
More and more. The narrative is shifting. GloRilla is looking less like a suspect and more like a carefully chosen target. Whispers suggest the break-in was far from random. A security expert who previously worked with another high-profile Memphis artist pointed out that these so-called burglaries often have deeper motives. They're not always about grabbing valuables, they're distractions. The real goal: what authorities uncover once they step inside. Could the entire break-in have been a Trojan horse, crafted to draw the police in under the guise of chaos? And, if so, who gave them the key? One circulating theory, unverified, but impossible to ignore, suggests this may have been an inside job. Not from enemies lurking in the shadows, but from people close enough to know her schedule, her routines, and maybe even what she had hidden. This was not about snatching jewelry or breaking locks. This smelled like strategy, blackmail, leverage, or high-level industry sabotage. GloRilla is no stranger to tension. She's had lyrical beefs and behind-the-scenes drama that never made headlines. Someone had motive. Someone had insider knowledge. And someone, it seems, wanted that stash to be found and her reputation to take the fall.
Calling it crazy, and according to the FedEx Forum officials in Memphis, Tennessee, GloRilla's concert will still go on as scheduled. It's happening only a few days after her arrest, right back here.
Outwardly, GloRilla is keeping her cool. She has been seen living it up in Mexico, drink in one hand, and maybe even NBA star Brandon Ingram in the other. Online, she joked about turning 30 just to stir up chaos, her posts dripping with confidence, but behind the glam shots, chart-topping tours, and birthday buzz, something feels off. No sign of federal charges yet, but the sudden silence from her legal team has raised eyebrows. Any deal that keeps her out of prison may come with a steeper price: her loyalty, her inner circle, or even the public's trust. So, what are we really witnessing? A plot so carefully stitched it would put true crime documentaries to shame. A betrayal masked by party streamers and Zodiac-themed bashes, or perhaps a perfect storm where everything from the break-in to the arrest to the whispered rumors of a Mulcanex with chilling precision. An Atlanta promoter who has worked with Glow summed it up bluntly. Something just does not sit right. No one targets a house that well known without a tip-off, and law enforcement, they did not stumble onto anything. They knew exactly what they came to find.
They sent me a statement, and in the statement, they say that the reason why they were able to arrest her was because they found was in a closet in the master bedroom, and the master bedroom belongs to GloRilla. So that is why they went forward and issued the arrest warrant for her. Now, at the end of their statement, they do say this: they are the police down there say the homeowner is a victim of a serious crime, and we are committed to bringing the suspect to justice. This was a statement from the
Beneath
sheriff.
The flashing lights, cheeky captions, and oversized sunglasses, Those closest to GloRilla say a different story is unfolding, one that cannot be filtered or staged. A former stylist, requesting anonymity, claimed the shift in glow was immediate after the arrest. Though she smiled for cameras and signed fan merch like clockwork, behind the curtain, she seemed to be unraveling, pale, restless, biting her nails raw, pacing nervously like she was waiting for a call that never came. Another team member shared that since returning from Georgia, she refused to sleep alone in any hotel room, insisting an assistant stay close, fearing another surprise, and maybe that fear is valid. Imagine surviving a home invasion only to be treated like the perpetrator. That trauma cuts deeper when ordinary people without lawyers, labels, or cameras were also caught in the chaos. Some are reportedly still shaken. One cousin, the same who called police, has gone silent. Another relative moved states away, saying they no longer felt safe living in a house with a target on it. The silence around Glow has grown louder by the day. Her fans see her posting birthday pics and flexing online, but even those jokes feel like armor. One viral clip showed her at Glow, Bash smiling, but stiff, distant. One fan posted, "Is Glow really celebrating, or just trying not to fall apart?" The FedEx forum still tweeted ticket links, pushing the show must go on energy. But beneath the party vibes was a mugshot on a $40 t-shirt, front and center at her pop-up booth. It sold out fast, but so did the sense of comfort. Some say the merch was a smart move. Others think it was strategic deflection. A music journalist hinted the shirts were dropped to flood the story before the court filings could control the narrative, bury the truth. One former A&R at a rival label went darker. If she's printing the mugshot, it's because worse ones might be coming. Fans turned into investigators, pulling up old tweets, scrubbing deleted posts, mapping timelines and feuds. The theory that gained the most traction: the mugshot merch is funding more than legal bills, it is shielding secrets. One alleged industry mole even claimed GloRilla is brokering a quiet settlement tied to the break-in. Hush money, maybe, to keep key voices from flipping the script. Meanwhile, the burglars, still at large, which only fuels the mystery. Was the shirt a flex or a firewall? More troubling is the total silence from her supposed inner circle. Longtime friends. No statements. Industry collaborators. MIA Brandon Ingram. The rumored romantic link. Ghosted fans keep posting side-by-side vacation pics, but he has gone radio silent. Maybe it was a real relationship, or maybe it was casual. Either way, the optics are telling. When things got messy, he vanished. And if even her closest people are backing away, it raises the question: what do they know? Or fear? Her team insists she's the victim. And, yes, the facts help her case. She was out of town. The suspects fled. No arrests have been made. But even facts can cut both ways. If she was gone, who knew what was in the closet? And why would burglars ignore valuable goods and leave behind what got her arrested? Maybe this was never about stealing. Maybe the goal was triggering the search that led to everything unraveling. And yet, here we are, still debating whether someone should be held accountable for what is found in their home even if they were not there. The items taken that night, still not fully detailed. The early narratives spoke of typical celebrity loot jewelry, high-end gear, but a forensic analyst with ties to the case says otherwise. A locked safe was reportedly taken. Some hard drives, too, not smash and grab material, more like someone looking for leverage. Some believe this was not a robbery, it was a cleanup job, targeted, timed, precise. While Glow was performing on stage, someone moved in with purpose. Her family called police like they were supposed to, but instead of treating it like a home invasion, law enforcement focused on a suspicious odor, got a warrant, and turned the spotlight onto her. One stolen piece of jewelry, a custom pendant, is rumored to have contained a hidden micro SD chip. Whether true or not, that detail has captured imaginations and shifted the story. The burglary happened, but it became the pretext for something bigger. A raid, a twist, a total redirection. The district attorney's office has not commented, and that silence has made one thing crystal clear: whatever was stolen was not just about luxury. It was about power, about control. And someone may now be holding the kind of secrets that can shift careers or wreck them. GloRilla, for all her charisma and strength, now walks a tightrope where even a single misstep could bring it all crashing down. This is no longer just a legal case. It is a branding war. A fight for public trust, for future deals, for the right to stand tall as a woman in charge of her own narrative. If a courtroom finds her guilty, That is one consequence. But if the public decides she is reckless, manipulative, or complicit, that's a sentence of its own.
No sense to me because are you responsible for what's in your house? If you're not home, you had guests there, you had somebody break in. The people that broke in could have dropped that. I don't know. I'm just saying, are you just responsible because she's the homeowner? Like,
well, yeah, she is the homeowner, but the problem is this was a small amount. This wasn't 10 pounds. This wasn't 20 pounds. It was an ounce, almost an ounce of weed, and she wasn't home. And let's get to the root of the thing. Somebody invaded her property, went in her crib, robbed her property.
Time is running out. GloRilla's next court appearance is just around the corner. And with it comes the weight of uncertainty pressing against every headline, every post, and every public move she makes. Depending on how the legal winds shift, she could be facing new charges, offered a behind-the-scenes plea deal, or find herself standing in the middle of a full-blown media spectacle, where every angle is scrutinized and every word dissected. What is clear is that the stakes have never been higher. Somewhere out there, still untouched by the law, are the three masked figures whose actions sparked this entire unraveling. The break-in at her Georgia home was not just was the fuse that lit a powder keg? And while the world zoomed in on GloRilla's mugshot and speculated about green stashes and viral t-shirts, the actual perpetrators faded into the background, untouched by flashbulbs or courtrooms. Forsyth County insists the investigation is ongoing, a phrase that often signals to extremes in celebrity cases. Either the system will quietly shelve it and walk away, or it will explode back into the spotlight with a vengeance. And so, this is where we are left on the edge of a story that refuses to wrap up neatly. GloRilla, once the Memphis breakout queen with Billboard dreams and gospel roots, now stands at the crossroads of stardom and scandal. She is not just battling legal charges. She is confronting a storm of public opinion, damaged trust within her own circle, and a growing sense that something or someone is working against her from the shadows. Her music still plays, her concerts are still selling out. But that merch table, stacked high with black tees bearing her booking photo, tells a more complicated story. To some, it is a clever reclaiming of the narrative, a woman taking control of how she is perceived. To others, it is damage control disguised as branding. A desperate attempt to own the story before someone else does, because make no mistake, there is another story. One just out of reach. One whispered about in group chats and DM threads, hinted at by ex-employees and former collaborators. The kind of story that has less to do with a petty drug charge and more to do with power, access, and leverage. Did someone close to GloRilla orchestrate the break-in? Did someone tip off authorities about what might be found? And more importantly, what was really taken that night? We still do not have a full inventory. There are murmurs of stolen hard drives, financial documents, even unreleased music or private communications that could compromise deals, reputations, or more. What began as a break-in has morphed into a narrative war, and GloRilla's team, though legally strategic and publicly polished, seems to be holding its breath. No emotional statements, no press conference, just calculated silence and occasional tweets that feel like armor-plated in humor. Her fans see the confidence, but many sense the crack beneath the surface. This is the kind of moment that makes or breaks artists, not just legally, but emotionally and professionally. The music industry is fickle. One controversy away from cancellation, one misstep away from being replaced. If GloRilla is found guilty, her brand suffers. But if the court of public opinion decides she's manipulative, dishonest, or disloyal, that punishment could be permanent. Because public trust, once lost, is rarely regained. But what if she is truly the victim, not just of a home invasion, but of a system that has repeatedly failed young black women at the height of their visibility? There is a pattern: women punished more harshly, judged more quickly, and expected to bounce back silently. And if GloRilla is caught in that cycle, her story becomes bigger than her. It becomes a symbol of everything wrong with the way fame, justice, and exploitation intersect in America. Yet even in that context, hard questions remain. Why was there no real effort to chase down the intruders? Why did the investigation turn inward so quickly? And how did a burglary become a search warrant targeting the homeowner? Fans are right to ask, if she was not there, if she was performing in another state, then why is she the only one who ended up in handcuffs? There is also the growing tension around her inner circle. Once tight, loyal, and proud, they have gone quiet. No messages of solidarity. No emotional outpouring. Just silence. Is it fear, legal caution, or something deeper, like fractured loyalties or behind-the-scenes fallout? And then there's Brandon Ingram, the rumored love interest. Once arm in arm with Glo in vacation photos, now nowhere to be found. He has made no public comment, and those close to the situation suggest he is distancing himself for professional reasons. But the lack of support has not gone unnoticed. Even fans have begun asking, did everyone jump ship? Then there is the merchandise. The mugshot tees sold fast. Some called it brilliant, others called it gross. But the theories surrounding them are impossible to ignore. One particularly viral thread suggested the merch drop was not just for profit, it was a calculated distraction. A way to crowd the conversation before damning documents, witness statements, or court evidence could shift the story again. A journalist in Atlanta even speculated that the shirts might be funding quiet settlements behind the scenes. Hush money to protect the brand, not just the artist. All the while, 3 key facts remain unanswered. What exactly was stolen? Who knew it would be there? And why did the robbers leave untouched the very items that led to GloRilla's arrest? If it was a setup, and many believe it was executed with stunning precision. Someone had timing. Someone had motive. And someone wanted her exposed. Whether it was industry sabotage, a betrayal by someone close, or even a legal play designed to force cooperation, the truth feels deliberately buried, and now GloRilla must move forward under that weight. Every move she makes is under surveillance by fans, by prosecutors, by the media. Her team can try to spin the story. Her concerts can still go on. But the truth is not so easily silenced. The longer the burglars remain at large, the more suspicious it looks. And the longer the court proceedings drag out, the more likely it is that secrets will spill. Her next court date may bring a turning point, or just another chapter in a saga that is already overflowing with twists. But whatever happens, one thing is undeniable: GloRilla's career, her legacy, and her future are now suspended in a delicate balance. Is she the victim of a corrupt and careless system, or did she make calculated decisions that are now catching up with her? Either way, we will be watching, so tell us, what do you think? Is GloRilla in the crosshairs of something bigger than she ever expected, or is this just the cost of playing in an industry where fame shines bright but casts long shadows? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned, because in this world, one slip can turn a chart-topping queen into a cautionary tale. Stay sharp. Stay watching. Do not blink. You might miss the next twist.